That's the garden lie. As the plants are like getting bigger and bigger, I'm looking at the flowers, but I already know that is not going to produce a juicy tomato. Hard stop, right?
Yeah.
And so if I go back to the squash, I'm going to sacrifice more for my tomatoes than any other summer plant. We know that. But if I look at the squash, all it is I won't say a headache, but all it is a problem plant in my garden, and we should be working on lightening the load, right?
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I pulled my collards in the spring going into the summer, those planted ones. Remember, they were so infested. I could have got things under control, but I'm glad that I have a new set of seedlings. Yeah, this is the first time in a long time I've had kale planted in the fall, but all of my other gardens have always had collard greens planted from spring or summer that were still growing. This will be the first time that I can remember that I've planted out brand new collard green transplants. And those younger plants are going to perform better. They're not as tattered. They were very sizable when I transplanted like half of them. The other ones were direct sowed. I think that it's like on one hand, I could be so rational about my garden, so that fall planting. And then I'm being like irrational when I look at powdery mildew that jumped from the zucchini, which there's an argument that I may have had an opportunity when I first saw signs of it, because I'm never all the tricks, the milk and all that stuff never work in my garden. If I'd have pulled that zucchini, which I care the least about, as soon as I saw that powdery mildew, I may have been able to avoid it in the squash. But you see how that works?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I trust. And by the way, the milk. No, I did that and it smelled horrible. It turned in the garden and it smelled,
No.
smelled rotten. So, yeah, it's tough and it's one of those things that you know if we were great gardening podcast hosts, great, we would get and we did a good job of it this year. But I would say it would be better if we went and we started talking about seasons exactly when we needed to. Dude, we would be talking about fall in June. Like our entire
Yeah.
content would be fall in June and it would be spring now. Eh, I don't think we would, but it would be months ahead of time because we always have to be a season behind or ahead,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is you're always looking into the future and it's like a juggling act to get it out. And right now, the problem with fall is you're not looking ahead to winter, but you're looking ahead to spring. So you're skipping
Yeah.
2 seasons technically, even though most of us are planting in meteorological
You
winter.
know, I literally want to say press pause on this episode. We'll come back and finish the last, few minutes of it, because I want to go and pull that zucchini and the two okra plants that have like probably produced 10 okra pods across them. And it's not even so much because those are the fire pits. So it's like 36 inches. Like it's not a big space. You're not gaining a whole lot more, but it also is something that I have to worry less about.
Right.
And and it, I hope that either listeners have this on their own or that the podcast gives them a bit of this, like the ability to reflect on what's going on in your garden, what's gone on, what you want to happen in your garden. Like there's so much of execution that's happening when I'm out there that you don't always stop and say, huh? Like I'll walk past it like, eh.
Yeah.
I was talking about it to say I'll pull the zucchini. Didn't even occur to me, well, what's left in the bed hasn't done well, right? Like, and again, that's growth in me as a gardener. I would be getting the last two pods next month and be like, oh, well, all right, now the plant's done because the weather's come in and killed
Yeah.
it. It's a really good example of, and I did a video about this probably more than a month ago, and I was partially there by pulling the collard green plants, but I really was talking in general, but I wasn't saying, make the tough decision about pulling your summer plants. And again, is it worth more trouble than is it more trouble than what it's worth is the saying. My mom always says that.
Well, if you if you've never gone all in 100% on this season and seen, and when I say 100%, I don't mean you plant a week before your first frost date. I mean, you really literally say, like, I'm doing this, I'm going all in, and you do it. You almost can't say if it's worth it or not. I feel like you got to give it a year when you go through and you say, look, I'm going to get rid of these plants. They're not, I'm going to go through, let's say, in August. And even right now, you still do have time to do this,
Mm-hmm.
but you go through and you say, okay, this plant's bad. You start ripping out plants that they're not producing. They're looking rough. They've got diseases. They've got pests, whatever. And you start pulling them and you plant right behind it. And you kind of give it that shot. Now, at this time of year, you've got to be very measured about what you plant. But I think if you did that, then you could really take a step back and say, like, hey, was it really worth it? Because for me, it was always commonplace to be going out there the second week, the month after the first
Mm-hmm.
frost and be taking out plants that got killed. That was just kind of like what you did, It was like I waited for the last minute for my tomatoes, my peppers, all that stuff. And now, like, the cleanup is done for the most part. We've got a handful of things, but for the most part, it's all done at this point. There's nothing really to clean up. We've done it. It's out. The chickens have eaten it. They've crapped it out. We've put it in the compost pile at this point. Like, it's over. And it's one of those things that, like, once we did that, it's very freeing, but it opened up and it taught me that there's a lot more left in the season than you think. But the season is just, it's so crazy how early it starts. And remember, I told you I plant in February 14th is when my first big plant day. That's when my cabbage goes out, my potatoes, my broccoli. If I'm doing kale or anything like that, I'd put that out. I'll sow my carrots around that time. Like, all that stuff goes out at that time. And it's crazy because before, do you know when I planted that Batavia? All those things? Can you take a wild guess when I did it before?
I was gonna see if it was in that live stream.
It was not.
Okay.
I appreciate the view, though. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, everybody. It was April 15th. So that
Mm-hmm.
was my last frost date. And I pushed it ahead by 2 months. And in that 2 months, that changed everything for me. It's crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy how that changed my garden completely. It took me from where we questioned if it was worth it to have a garden to being like, it's absolutely worth it to grow food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just thinking though, like, I don't need a year. I respect the idea of, like, let the full kind of evolution of that garden, be complete for you to decide. I don't need a year to know that that one round bed is more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah.
What I'm saying though is it doesn't, because it's a muscle you're exercising, because that's not natural to me. That's actually pretty anti to the way that I move in my garden. That's the reason why it takes me longer to come to that conclusion. Like, it hadn't even occurred to me to empty the full bed, right? It
Right.
occurred to me that, oh, I probably need to pull this zucchini. And what I would have been, and wasn't thinking about replanting it, and I may not replant it, but the idea is removing something from your garden that's no longer serving you. One more time for the folks in the cheap seats. Removing something from your garden that's no longer serving you. There's one more note around that, and it cuts both ways. And the place I'm in now, I believe a little bit at a time is more helpful to me. My neighbor, a couple of doors down, I was chatting with them, and they said, "Oh, it's about time to start cutting down the sunflowers because they are big and beautiful and wondrous when they're all blooming." And then the birds are kind with them. The
Mm-hmm.
squirrels are like assassins. They're
Right.
breaking all kinds of branches, going up and going down when they're eating at them. And the first few years that I grew a bunch of sunflowers, we're talking about like 2025 different sunflower stalks, and those things are big. I waited until everything was dead. It looked like a ghost town. Like, there's nothing that was picturesque about it. And I spent the better part of an afternoon pulling and cutting those up to get them into the trash.